Alright, we are back. Okay, so the senior staff of the Code Lebet have stepped aside to have a private conversation. Where do y'all go to have this conversation?
Oh, I did not know we were speaking with the crew. I'm happy to do so.
Oh, no, I just meant I was just referring to the three of you going aside. You don't have to
Oh,
actually go and talk with the ship.
okay. What? We didn't actually. Well, actually, I think you did paint a beautiful picture of where we were, but I forgot it basically instantly. So, can you describe where we are?
Okay, so you are in the town of Fort Starfall. And so you were having this conversation, like, amongst the the harbor side buildings. There's docks leading out into the harbor itself. There's cobbled streets under your feet. The fort that the town takes its name from looms in the distance over the town, in a spot that overlooks the harbor on a spit of land. A lighthouse above it that is not lit. And there's a bunch of buildings around in various states of disrepair. Now that you're closer, you can see that a lot of these buildings haven't been maintained. Some of them have. Usually they're the ones that have lights in them. For instance, the Harbor Master's building that you passed, that the doctor is sitting next to, is moderately maintained. There's a few broken windows, but it also shows that there have been like attempts at repairs.
I think we ought to step a little bit closer to the docks to such a point. You described rounding a corner earlier, so we're going to step back around that corner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So you're just in the street, but a bit away from the crowd that has gathered and is observing you. And I think as you step away, you can see that the doctor is like talking to the crowd about something. You can probably catch bits of it as you walk away. That the doctor's explaining the like what you are, basically what it's learned over the course of your conversation.
I'm gonna let up a green flare to let the people on the ship know that stop like being on the guns and we're still alive and things are okay for now.
Excellent.
Okay.
And I am
I'm sure that won't confuse and bewilder these people at
I
all.
think everything we do will confuse and bewilder. Okay, I'm slightly cursed from that.
We have stuff to do that specifically. We have flares that have been made specifically to do that. We don't
Yes,
have to. You don't
but
have to be
none
cursed.
of none of them were everything's okay flares. They were all like we are in dire need of help flares.
Also, from a practical standpoint, like all three of you can use those chemically based flares, but only Dorothy can do the spell ones. So saving them isn't a terrible idea.
I suppose.
Okay, so you've established that that the three of you are okay. You've got your space. You wanted to have a conversation, a sit-down conversation, as you put it, Christine.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, are, what do you guys think? As I mentioned before, our current plan could lead to a genocide of these people who seem very nice and don't understand what shame is, and that's always good. Where are we all standing? What's happening? Is This is all entirely new and surprising information, and I would like to figure out what we all think about it.
Vibe check.
Vibe check?
There's still a rogue god killing the world, and just because it's not killing them doesn't particularly change my mind on the matter.
Does kill them is the thing we've learned. When the storm comes through, it can kill them, which leads me to believe that that the connection between the storm god itself and these people as people is as a source at best.
Yes. But that doesn't mean, like, it seems like they are not the intent of the storm god, but they are still the result of the storm god. And I don't know what's going to happen to them once the energy that's powering them leaves this plane of existence.
That's a very fair question to broach. I'm not sure how to do so, but it is something worth talking about.
I don't think that they will be able to let us know, but I think that we're going to have to... We need to know that if we continue on with our plan, this is a very distinct possibility. It's not necessarily 100% this is absolutely going to happen, but it is something. Now, an alternate plan could be they said that the first generation of the Sparks tend to, like, chill out and get to the second generation a lot faster with the presence of the second generation. We could talk to them about spreading these people out across the world and like, I guess, capturing the Sparked and civilizing them and, like, preventing them from killing any more people. But that's, of course, going to mean that people will... It's not going to be instantaneous. More people are going to be harmed.
Out of curiosity, how does all of this information dovetail with the vision that you and everyone else magically inclined in Enclave had?
Well, what we only saw a couple of minutes of what happened in Enclave, and it seemed that Enclave was overrun by first-generation Sparked. And also that the God Storm was above us at the time. We don't know if those two are related. It seems like it would probably be that, but we don't know that.
It is an interesting quandary.
Where did we ever come down on whether elementals are alive or not?
They were weird, is what we came down on. Did we figure out that they were like Dorothy's energy, but slightly different?
I don't recall the specifics. I think that was the case, was that they were similar to Dorothy.
The good medical professional did not seem to have a sense of a before time, correct?
Right.
Simply that they were. Or perhaps had been first generation and became second generation. But no, nothing before that. No sense of before the rebirth.
We stop the storm, or we all get sparked. If there's a middle path, I'd love to hear it.
It does seem to be the logical conclusion of this city. It's not the worst, but none of us exist in it.
And maybe we could all, well, I guess like our bodies could like exist in a super cool electrified state, and then our bodies can have
Yes,
a whole other
our
life.
bodies could be inhabited peacefully for eons by supernatural elemental lightning force. But we would have to die first.
I like being here is the problem.
That is a problem. Life sucks.
Breathing and eating and singing, these are all things I enjoy and like to continue to do on a regular basis. I even like sleeping when it strikes me.
Stop bragging. There's also, I guess, now would be, I guess, an appropriate time. I brought it up before, about the, I have some problems, with the death god, and so, like, I need to maybe let you in on what they are, so we as a group can decide if I should be part of this, or if I'm going to.
You did mention it in passing.
Yeah. Should I let you guys know?
Could you possibly owe them more than I do?
Yeah. 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 Okay. Let's go back in time. So my mother, she wanted access to a lot of power and longevity, which, as you know, is something that a lot of people want, and she decided to go for it. And so she
Familiar with
decided
the concept so far.
so she decided to campaign to the god of chaos, the swarm, for access to this, and to do so, she went against the natural order of things in a pretty significant way. And in doing so, she did gain the power she was looking for, and also gained longevity that she was looking for. And after she did that, so sorry. I don't
Viper's
really.
pulling out those crackers.
Yeah.
Sharing them with Foxglove.
They're just crumbs. So, so you could say that Death had a problem with her breaking the natural order of things, and so far she has continued to extend her life by sapping the life from her descendants. And
Dorothy,
uh-huh.
do we need to kill your mom?
I don't think that would help.
It's on the table.
It is on the table actually. Um, well, I feel like, well, the thing is, like, the killing of the parent is kind of what put us in this position anyway. she she killed and ate her father.
Oh, that old story.
Yeah, I know, that old story. Yeah, so after which, I don't know fully if it was sort of death coming for what it could, or if it was my mother directly like sapping the life force, but all of her descendants, once we reached the age that she was when she stopped aging, we would die. And I was approaching that age, and I wasn't a fan of dying at the time. So me and my partner, um, we actually did something very similar to what it sounded like you did with the whalebone and the Graven Guard, but we didn't have anything to offer like you did with the whalebone. So my partner, they didn't come back. And I was hoping going forward that I could help figure out what was going on, and I could put a stop to it by delaying death coming from my body before it came from my children. But I didn't realize that my body, this vessel doesn't have like the same whatever, like magical conduct or whatever the hell it is that bodies have that produce magic, and I wasn't able to even perform the ceremony to transfer their bodies or put a stop to whatever this curse is on my family line. So I couldn't stop it, and fortunately there's no other descendants of my line, so it sort of isn't a big problem in the world. But I think going to death and saying, hey, here I am, I don't think death as a concept really likes my family or me for tricking it. So that's my TED Talk. So I don't know if I will be helpful or if I will hinder our mission here. And I thought I should let you know before we're at the base of the mountain. And I'm like, oh, by the way, I could actually curse this whole thing. So,
Well, if you're asking me, it sounds like you've already paid your personal debt.
I think paying my personal debt would be to die, wouldn't it? I think other people paid my debt for me, which isn't really paying my debt.
Viper, you've spoken to the god of death before. How...
Spoken may be strong. I've been in the presence of.
Well, that's my question right there, which is...
Is it a real dick?
Can it be reasoned with? Does it understand things?
I love what a normie V is coming out as in this scene.
I haven't done any kind of weird forbidden magics with gods. I'm just...
Tree what shoots and sings good.
That's me.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Well, I've met it twice. The first time was wordless. And whatever deal we worked out, worked out. I'm not sure who established that tradition. It came well before me. The second time, it rewarded me for tolerating its presence.
That seems like a god that can be reasoned with and wants to be reasoned with because it rewarded you for acknowledging and not attacking it in presence. That seems like a god who would like to make some friends. So I think that your situation can be navigated. And we're going to help you in every way that we can to navigate it, if that's something you're interested in.
There's literally no one on the planet more qualified to help.
I'm more concerned with terrible consequences raining on the two of you for associating with me than I am about what will happen when we meet. So I just want to let you guys. I just wanted you guys to make an informed decision here.
I've been in theater for a great deal of time. I am more than acquainted with damage control. We are going to be fine.
I feel like I should argue that dealing with a god is different than dealing with actors, but I don't know.
Well, we're trying to get a performance out of both of them, so.
It's true. Okay. Okay, so what happens, happens.
It is, of course, always good to hear that you care and that you were thinking about this stuff. But we will deal with it. We're not leaving you anywhere.
Where does your mom live?
Sure, not location, I just want to talk.
Yeah.
He's gone quite deep into hiding. I've tried scrying. I've tried calling her. I've tried to track her movements. I don't know. I mean, go to the nearest disaster. Honestly.
I bet I know who knows where she lives.
Is it Jesus?
Well, we're on our way. We're on our way to meet him.
So, is there more that the three of you wanted to discuss in private? Or do you want to move on and forward?
Yeah, what's the actual plan here?
Yeah, do we still want to bring the Death God to the Storm God? Like, is this still viable?
Honestly, it seems... The vibe I'm getting from you guys is that when it's the fate of the world versus a fate of a village, we're gonna have to go with the world.
Well, it's crummy either way.
I'm very glad y'all are having this conversation, because it's been something I've thought of for a while. And I have an answer to this, but...
Oh, so there is a third option that Austin, the GM, has formulated.
No, I meant specifically about whether or not destroying the storm will destroy the sparked.
Well, now officially know something will happen.
Yes.
I just
Or not.
Or not.
I just want to make sure that it's not one of those things where like the movie ends and like it's a big question mark and you can tell that the filmmaker doesn't have a fucking clue to the answer.
Let me look at my fortune telling spells.
Do something.
Honestly, not the worst idea.
I don't have access to them yet.
Damn it.
We've got to kill more people.
Gotta
I
kill
need
more
it to be
people.
in my other body. This body sucks.
As Viper feeds another, we've moved on from crackers. Viper's gotten into the fish jerky now and feeds another little chunk of fish jerky to Foxglove.
Foxglove
she says,
is in love with you right now. She wants to live with you.
She says, I've pulled a lot of weeds and scraped a lot of barnacles over the years.
Jesus, that's grim. Holy fuck, Viper.
Pruning does help the health of the plant, unfortunately.
Jesus Christ, all of you. Or whatever.
We're trees. We have
Illogical.
metaphors for days.
Ah.
I'm not more pleased with the idea of all of these people dying because the storm god dies any more than you are.
I don't think you do. I don't think that of you guys. I want you to know. I also don't really feel like it's ethical to ask them for help to get to the mountain. Unless they knew what would happen to them once we got there.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen to them.
We have an idea.
You have a theory.
And I'm the vessel of all knowledge.
Uh-huh.
As established.
Well, you know of anyone who would know. It would be the death god, wouldn't it?
That is true. Well, good productive talk.
It wouldn't hurt to ask.
Would not. Well, it might, because at least because we're gonna do what we're going to do, and I don't think that information will change. And so by asking, I think it actually will hurt having the actual knowledge going forward that our action is going to kill an entire group of people, rather than the luxury of ignorance to that idea.
The absence of our action will also kill an entire group of people.
But we don't know for sure.
We do very much know for sure.
Well, I mean, killing. Maybe Enclave, we just all leave Enclave, and then a bunch of Sparked move there. I'm just saying we don't know.
I know you fear oblivion as much as I do because you are still here. So...
Okay. Let's take a vote. I vote.
Sorry, just the absurdity of 3 people voting on whether or not to possibly maybe commit genocide.
No, that's not what I'm voting on.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I think we've all agreed that we're going to commit genocide.
Maybe.
Maybe. To prevent global genocide.
You're going to perform an amputation.
Got you. The vote is on if we should use a guide or not to get to the mountain. And then if we use a guide, do we let them know what we think might happen?
A guide would be useful.
Okay. I vote no guide.
We did not anticipate getting a guide to begin with, so it would be a bonus on top of an already stellar plan. I am not sold wholesale on if we go to the storm god, the death god, and we find out that the death of the storm god will kill all of its sparked descendants. I'm not sold on bringing the worm to do its duty. I am sold on finding that out for sure, and I do think that propagating the second generation sparked has some, it's just the shyest little hint of hope for us coexisting in a world with them, as we have shaken hands with them and lived to tell the tale.
So, sorry, what's your vote on the guide?
I don't care. What?
Okay.
It would be useful, but it's a matter of days, not whether or not the decision happens.
Okay. Viper, where are you standing? Are you sitting? What's going on? Are you asleep?
Yeah.
You bored by this conversation?
I'm gonna get us there one way or another, Dorothy. If I have to take a few more hits on the way, it's fine.
It would be so handy, though. Or potentially could be handy. I don't know. Here's the thing. The people, the second generation who are curtailing the first generation already have restraints on them to begin with.
Well, they said that there's still some unrestrained ones deeper in the...
Correct. Which means that having a second generation sparked with us wouldn't make a difference because the restraints wouldn't be there. It would ensure that somebody got to the mountain. Absolutely. It would not necessarily be us because we are the ones that they love to hurt very badly to death.
Mhm.
So in the sense of guaranteeing that the mission happens, guaranteeing that we get an answer to this question, it would be very handy to have a guide along.
Okay, so you're voting for the guide.
I suppose, yes, I talked myself into it.
Okay. So, Viper, you are our tiebreaker.
Foxglove, what do you have to say about this? Another piece of jerky.
Foxglove is in a food coma. She is like, her little feet are kicking, she's sleeping and she's running and she's happy, but she is dead asleep.
Would you prefer they know or not know what we're doing? I guess is the question. If we take a guide, you've got a few days to teach them.
Man, I
Do we
don't-
give them that fear or not?
I feel like it would be unethical if we have a guide not to tell them, but I don't want to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
If we have a guide, we ought to tell them because the purpose of the guide as a last resort means that they need to get that answer either way.
I don't want to tell a group of people they might die. Again.
Well, that's the captain's job.
Should we just rock, paper, scissors?
I will throw all three.
Well, either way, we should get Gentleman Moose, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's continue to hash this out as we go.
What what to do with the crew in the meantime. Did we decide on whether or not we would bring people along? I don't remember. The
Well,
last few
Billiam is
days are
coming
filled haze.
at minimum.
Just
Billiam.
William.
He's kind of the key to the whole shebang.
We can ask if people want to come.
It's a nice walk to the Temple of the Death God. They already know what we're here for, so...
Yes, it's good that we're not deceiving them. Now, Viper, will you put on your backpack so that I can sneak in there?
Of course.
Thank you.
So y'all are going back to the ship?
Sounds like it. Sounds
like
like we're getting prepared to make this trek one way or another.
Okay. So you get back to the ship and Hanar's like, how'd it go, Captain?
Lightning.
Lightning?
Enlightening.
Ah.
So they're people who can speak and have a society. That's exciting. So the ceasefire continues joyfully, gleefully, wonderfully.
I have no clue what to make of that, Captain.
Hanar, I
Slap her
hardly
on
know
the
what
back
to
and
do with
say,
myself.
welcome to the club.
Yep. It is taking some getting used to, but it is also promising. Terrifying, but promising.
Alright, well, I guess we'll set up to wait then.
Yes, holding pattern is in order.
And
Probably best to keep the crew aboard and not to go ashore, at least for now.
I'm sure they'll appreciate that. The even if these sparked are friendly, I suspect some people might be a bit suspicious, to put it lightly.
To put it lightly. Yes, I have a lot to think about.
All
But
right.
you have your orders.
Yep, I'll leave the big thinking to you, Captain. I'll get the crew in ship shape.
Got both heads on it.
So she walks off and starts ordering people about, telling them what they need to get ready. It's pretty light because, people are already at their stations. It's mostly just telling people to relax a bit, prepare for the long haul, setting up shifts instead of having all hands at battle stations. And what about the three of you?
I'm going to my quarters.
We're gonna make sure William's packed up and ready for a week-long hike.
I guess once I get into a position where I can change, I would like to disguise self, and I guess I'll go around and be just to the different stations and be like, so we're doing the thing. You want in?
Okay. Are you making a case, or are you just asking for volunteers?
I'm just asking for volunteers. I mean, I will make I will put a slight guilt on them by being like, if we don't make it, I guess the world just ends. And you helped with that. But it's cool if you want to stay on the ship.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not good consent.
No.
All right. Give me an intimidate roll, I guess.
Roll for emotional manipulation.
25.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Something about me's intimidating. I don't know what.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, Sasha, give me let's see. Give me 5d6. We'll see how many crew are going to volunteer to come with you.
11.
11. Okay.
It's so many NPCs to take care of and make sure don't die. God damn it.
Well, we'll figure out if they're gonna come or not once we figure out who they are.
Safe.
Yeah. If they're like the apothecary, or maybe the apothecary. If they're like the guy who saw a ghost once, I don't know if well, he's needed on deck.
Honestly, he has probably the most ethereal experience of the god of death that anybody. So technically, he is qualified.
So are we gonna roll to see who of the 11 they are coming with, or we're like voluntold?
Yeah, we can do that. I just want to think about how we're gonna do this.
Well, don't we have a list of people?
Yes, I just am trying to figure out if I want to like just have y'all pick, or if I want to randomly roll. Anyone have any thoughts in that regard?
I think at the random rolling, I like the idea of random rolling, to be honest.
The lottery.
Okay, then in that case, Sasha, give me 11d3.
One more time?
11d3.
Great.
Okay, so that is, let me just pull up a quick notepad. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 threes. 6 threes.
A lot of folks from the punch bowl.
2
It sounds like them.
ones and 3 twos.
Are the like the captains or the heads of those groups?
Yeah, I've only excluded Billiam and the gunners.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So now we need 11 d10s. Okay, so we'll do the people from
These are really marvelous spreads of dice.
Christine's crew first. So that's the first two, 8 and 7. So that's 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is Ezekiel and 7 is Nyx. Ezekiel, Nyx. Nyx is the Kadam tortoiseshell sailor, and Ezekiel is the Saurian sailor. Okay. And then, let's see, the next 3 will be from Sasha's list. So that's 4, 8, and 1. Oh, bear me. Bear me volunteers.
Oh.
I'd like to exclude the senior officers of the ship from the list.
Okay.
I would not.
You can absolutely be like, no, bear me. You need to stay.
No, Barry me stays.
I think we need to protect Baramy at all costs.
Yes, absolutely.
Baramy stays, Hanar stays, whoever the fuck else is in my senior officer list stays.
Greg the Gaff volunteers, of all people. The fucking con man, Root Walker, who is like very opposed to this mission. So, he wants
Talked himself into it.
he wants first dibs on the loot, I think. Okay, and then 8. And let me just write this down. 8, 6, 9, 6. We'll put that to 7, 3, and 10. So 3 is Greta Falconer, the guide. So actually, your guide's coming with you. Good
That's
luck.
helpful.
6, Tika Tidehunter, who is the follower of the Stormlord and the Fortune Teller. Amber Firetender, who is an entertainer. Maybell volunteers, but
I say Maybell can come if she wants to. She's the apothecary, and
She's gonna get so smug when she finds out I'm a mage. God damn it.
Vartia the fiddle player volunteers. And
I'd just like to point out that all of my entertainers from the Punch Bowl have +1 to attack.
mm-hmm. And
But be good to have
Oh.
a fiddler so we can play Dance Macabre.
and
Yeah,
you
you might. I think you might need to re-roll at 10.
yeah, since you left Otis and Dale behind. You know what? I think it's gonna be like just Billiam volunteers, and then you point out that he's coming anyways.
No. You get a choice.
Or maybe you don't point that out, and you're like, glad to have you.
Lance, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, Lance Quintana's coming too. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so for my list, I think I'm actually gonna nix both of those people because, like,
No, Nyx is only one of them.
yeah. Because we only have so many sailors, and we need this boat to fucking work.
Okay, and you've nixed Bear Me as well. Okay, so let's see. You've got Domino Blessed, the one who has seen a ghost before,
Yeah.
Yes.
who is also a guide.
Spirit guide.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got some entertainers, some mystics, and some guides. And are you or are you not taking Maybell? Because Viper's saying yeah, and V is saying... Actually, why don't we have this conversation in character?
Alright.
So, I guess, like, Dorothy, you've brought, like, the list of volunteers to V and Viper. And, like, you've already been like, no Nyx, no Ezekiel. V's said
Yeah.
no to Bear Me.
I gave Hanar some shit for not volunteering, but like, given the business kind of shit talking, not serious. I'm your boss. You have to go. Big bad pirate doesn't want to face the gift of God.
Henner points out that someone needs to stay here and watch the ship, and like, not in a. She points out like she's not just saying that because it's like what the coward would say. Like someone actually needs to be in charge, and if it's not going to be V, then it needs to be her.
Yeah, no, I definitely implied she's a coward for it.
Great.
In a lighthearted way.
Really on this definitely going to make people like Mage's PR campaign.
He's an Elmo mage. I'm giving her the business. People like getting the business.
You're
Yeah,
dying for that second date is what you're doing. Neg her just a little bit.
She knows you're. She knows you're just teasing. Just to
Okay.
be clear, she doesn't
Yeah.
think that you're talking shit. Yeah. Okay. So, I guess the three of you are in V's quarters. You've brought the list.
And then we're just like, absolutely not this person.
Okay, Maybell, I would like her not to come
For personal reasons, but not for any legitimate ones.
Okay, well, noted, I guess.
I don't want her to come because I don't want to shorthand the crew any further than we already are. And if we don't come back, they're going to need everyone they can get.
Why do you want Maybell to come?
Where do you think there's going to be more broken bones? With us or on the ship?
I'm not familiar with this concept.
Dorothy.
That's Dorothy.
Both of us are relatively capable with first aid.
I mean, relatively comfortable isn't the same as competent.
And you have cool healing magics that you've done at least once in front of everyone and God. So,
Listen, you two are the ones who can feel pain, so you guys are the only ones that get a vote.
Maybell, as someone who can be there for the other members of the crew that we are bringing, that is worth something. I suppose.
I guess.
I don't like it, but I can see the purpose of it. What say you?
I say I've only tried to argue with Maybell once in my whole life and didn't win. So if you're going to tell her to stay on the ship, you need to tell her to stay on the ship because I'm not going to do it.
Very capable of doing so.
Can I do so?
Dorothy.
Yeah?
What?
I would love to see you try.
I've seen her keep people calm when they shouldn't have been calm. I've seen her talk people through injuries in ways that made them not hurt themselves more. A lot of these people that are coming with us,
Are very nice.
they're gonna need some support after things go bad, if they go bad. And there's only two of us, and a doctor's kit between us. So
Right.
So is Maybell coming then?
Mabel is coming.
we can arm wrestle over it if you want to.
We can arm wrestle
Always want to
anyway.
solve arguments that way. Let me just cast strength on myself like 15 times.
I like the idea of all three on one side trying to wrangle with Viper's one arm. Why I oughta.
Okay, so
Viper's deepest, darkest secret is that V actually is stronger than her. By 1 point, I think, if we look at the character sheets. It's all them arms.
okay, so Maybell, Domino, Greg, Tika, Vartia, Amber, Greta, Lance, and Billiam are coming on the quest.
Oh, wait. Maybe we should just leave them all behind, because we only have one moose. This is gonna take extra time.
I have an idea.
Go on.
It involves
Shenanigans by the sound of it.
Go on.
we take maybe one of the rowboats and we lash it to Gentleman Moose.
Sled.
Like a sled, very similarly to a sled.
We could
Profit.
walk. It's like 2 days. They can walk. It'll be
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Might not be fine, but it won't be that much worse than it would have been anyway.
Oh, what is the purpose of bringing the crew along? I know I'm the captain at all and I should be about that, but
Just like extra support?
we make a slimmer profile with 3 people, 6 people technically, all told. I'm not against it. I just don't.
Do you want to know like the mechanical reasons?
I would love to know the mechanical reasons.
So, I mean, they're all each of them is at least one additional set of actions per combat round if you end up in a combat situation, which does not necessarily mean that they need to attack, right? Like
Right,
you
yes.
use them in the second fight with decency to pick up guns.
Right.
So if there's like stuff that needs doing during a combat, each of them is an extra 2 half actions. Plus they all have like their own specialized skills. I'm not sure what all of those are offhand, but like they all have their own competencies. I think, and like to be a bit brutal about it, like worst comes to worst, them getting attacked is not y'all getting attacked. Like in the most cruel fashion, like a benefit is that they are meat shields and cannon fodder.
Well, actually, we're leaving the cannoneers.
You sure you don't want to unload the ballista you bought and drag it to the...
We can put it on the boat sled.
All right.
Okay, but this slaps now. I kind of.
Yeah, that kind of actually
beautiful
sounds.
what you presented. If we can dangle the entertainers from the front like Mad Max Fury Road. It's gonna be fucking rad.
One of them is a daredevil.
It's a clarinet that shoots crossbow bolts.
So I think the answer to why we're bringing the crew is it's kind of like the end of the world, and we might not be able to do it all by ourselves.
You make a compelling argument. Okay, we bring the crew. We take it slow. We do this right. And we get our answers, and then we figure out what to do after that.
Also, more people can carry more treasure.
Yeah, if you want to...
Says Greg from down the hall.
It's a private guy's hand!
Yeah, if you want to loot the God of Death's monastery at the base of the mountain.
Probably got some sick drops. Some great fucking...
Well, you said he's forgiving, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right, so you've got a plan, you've got a crew. You're going on foot.
Where did we land on taking a guide? Like a sparked guide?
We didn't.
That was still a bit nebulous when that conversation ended.
Hey, at least you got two of your own now.
We got two of our own guides. The argument for a guide in this case would be as a last resort, because the Sparks don't care about the second generation. And that would probably... We would have the entire trip to talk to the guide about it, and that would probably inform them better as to the situation with the rest of the world, which could equip them better to figure out their relationship to said rest of the world.
What's your point? I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to introduce mortality into a species.
They already have mortality.
Not as like they understand that it exists for others, but they don't understand that they can stop existing.
They do. They've had people die before, from the storm god.
That storm did a kill.
It did do a kill, yeah.
They just didn't have a word for it.
A big ouchie. The ultimate no-no.
Terminal boo-boo.
I really don't want to do it.
Was that Christine or Dorothy saying that?
I think that was both of us trying to speak at once.
Okay. Fair.
Okay, what do you think, Viper?
I'm not passionate enough to press the issue if Dorothy remains obstinate, but as far as these people are concerned, it's easier to take a punch when you see it coming. That's my opinion.
This is causing me to stare down the barrel of my own mortality. I don't like this. Can I kill something real quick so I can get my plant shaping or landscape shaping powers? And then I could just cut a path to the mountain and it'll be fine.
Sure, Greg's down the hall.
Okay. Greg, can we talk for a second?
I think sneak attacks are worth more XP.
Doesn't work against root walkers, I think.
Damn.
He's so gregarious.
So
Yeah.
It's his only character trait.
I said I'd go with whatever you two voted for, so.
Alright, and it's done. We're gonna rip this bandage off of you.
Let's go see if we can in fact even get a guide, because we were just kind of assumed that one of these people would be totally game to go up to the fucking mountain. Adam B doesn't swear. I'm so sorry. Up to the mountain.
Who knows, maybe Doc Biggles will be the one to come along.
I do like Doc Biggums.
Doc Bigums.
So yeah, Madam V at least is going to skip, hop, jump down to where we left the good medical professional and all of their friends, and continue a conversation, because we said that we would.
Okay. So, You return back to where they're waiting. Some people have wandered off. There's still a bit of a crowd as people are like chatting. And
I don't guess they have a lot to do around here, so.
I think it has less to do with that and more to do with the fact that they don't sleep. Right? Because, like, this is all happening in the middle of the night, remember? You arrived at, like, just after sunset.
That's right.
And so you return, and the doctor says, from, of course, one of its fingers, how did your private conversation go?
Went very well. Thanks very much for asking. So, as we said before, we're on our way over to that big old mountain over there. We wondered if you know of any of your people who make that trip on the regular, who would be amenable, with compensation, of course, to help us do that. Since we're not from here, we're not as familiar with the terrain.
I will spread the word that you are looking for someone who can travel there. We have had people explore out deeper into the island. That is often how some of our first stage people return to us, is that they encounter one of our second stage people and follow them back. So there should be at least one person who has an idea of how to get to that mountain.
Yes. Excellent. Well, thank you very much. That would be extraordinarily helpful.
All right. Where shall I tell them to meet you?
I suppose. I think we are going to wait until first light before we start moving through the island. So, if you send them to where our ship is docked, that will be perfect.
All right. I will let them know to meet you there.
Excellent. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, medical professional.
It has been very enjoyable to speak with you there. I hope to speak with you all again later on.
Oh, agreed. Same.
And so, they say...
Handshake time.
Viper
Oh, sure.
just...
Says Viper, yes, and extends a hand.
Okay. One of their finger arms extends out and shakes your hand again and says,
And she's,
I like this gesture. It is a good gesture.
it is, and you can trust that we all feel the same way, that we wish to speak to you again.
Good, good.
Out of curiosity, do you feel anything when we shake hands?
Feel anything? I can touch you.
Yes. Okay. I guess I suppose that answers the question. Thanks very much.
It definitely gives you like a strange look. But
Well, we feel, or at least I do. I feel a little bit of electricity. Not enough to harm me in any way, but just a small spark is what I feel. I was wondering if you felt that exchange.
yes, we do feel that when we touch.
Maybe he likes you.
Captain
We'll
V,
talk about
Madam
it later.
V, and Captain V, Madam V blush.
The most horror couple of all time.
Oh.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Sasha's already got that art brewing.
I want to hold your hand.
Okay.
Before we set out, I should probably let the crew know about my condition. Not the whole crew, just the special crew that's coming with us.
Okay, so how do you want to do that?
I guess I'll get while this is happening, I will gather the crew in the captain's suite and let them know that they have all volunteered and are joining us for the mission. Additionally, there's something that you should know now, because I am not casting illusion every 5 fucking minutes when we're on our trip. So this is not my body. As you all may or may not know, sailors are very superstitious, so we gotta keep this from them, okay? We're all cool here, right?
Give me
If anyone's not cool,
The
you leave
actual
now.
reason you didn't want any sailors on the expedition.
That's one of them, yeah.
Give me a persuasion check, Dorothy.
I will. Y'all have to be cool. That's one of the rules of the secret club. That's an impress check.
Yep.
29.
Ow.
Okay.
They're all cool.
Yeah, I think that they're.
Greg, I'm looking at you.
I have a question. How unsettling is it when the fake body melts away? That's...
I could do... I think, like, unless I dismiss the spell, when it naturally runs out, it just sort of, like, starts to shimmer like a mirage, and then, like, my interior, my real body is sort of in the interior of it, and then it dissipates. But, like, when I dismiss it, I can make it look as
anything
horrifying as I want.
Did little Dorothy just step out of the chest of Big Dorothy onto the table?
Oh god!
And the only part that comes along is the head?
Oh god, oh god, oh god. I had a gag reflex to that.
Amazing.
Sorry.
Or just like a zipper appears.
Just like in Cats.
Oh god. I'm glad I haven't seen that. So everyone's cool?
I think you definitely get some like looks of surprise and consideration around the crowd, but no one's like interrupting your speech.
Okay. Then I guess explosion of glitter and confetti appears. And then Dorothy's there. I did work in theater for several years.
I think Lance is like, that was a sweet trick, brah. Where'd she go?
Lance, you've seen my real body.
Has he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lance, sweetie.
Look,
She's probably like placed bets on him. And
Dorothy A is the same as Dorothy. We're the same Dorothy, honey. Sweetheart.
That's really cool.
Sweetie. I'm worried about him.
Viper's like, yeah, it's rad. She does this kind of shit all the time, actually.
I think you get Tika is like, a mage is with us. I think our chances have increased dramatically. That's wonderful to hear.
Oh, I'm glad that's your takeaway. Okay, cool. So no surprises going forward. Okay. You're dismissed. I just wanted to show off. Bye.
I think Tika definitely like comes over to you like as people are filtering out, and she's like, would you be able to teach me some magic? I have a little bit right now, but
What did you do
what do you mean, what did I do?
to get the magic?
What did you do?
I don't... What do you mean?
Fantastic standoff.
For
between the two
for
of you.
clarity here, Tika is just a fortune teller.
It's just okay. So most mages I know had to pay a really terrible price. Did you do that? Cause it's cool if you did.
Paid like 14 gold for his correspondence course.
It's part of a pyramid scheme, and that's her sin.
The most terrible price.
Multi-level maging.
Yeah.
Dorothy, if you teach me some magic, then I can teach someone else some magic. The power feeds back up to you. She's got like a pittance of spell power, so I'm not sure. I think she probably did something, but I don't think she even realizes that she did it, right?
It's also possible that magic doesn't always come at a terrible cost. It's just the one I know.
It's possible that Dorothy may be somewhat misguided on this.
Might be, yeah, possibly.
Yeah, so she like either she doesn't know what she did because like I said, she doesn't have a whole lot of power, or she got her magic some other way. She is a follower of the Stormlord.
It's true. We'll talk more about that later. But yeah, I'd be glad to teach you some things.
She like fist pumps and is like, yeah. And so she leaves. Okay.
It's just Mabel left over, just to be clear, I've had several discussions with Mabel about like mages are awful and you're a bad person for being one.
Okay.
Internalized mage phobia.
Yeah, okay. So is there anything anyone wants to do before the morning? Any scenes you want to have specifically? I'm not super interested in going over what gear you want to bring at this time.
A lot of pacing and thinking.
Yeah, if no one else has a scene with Viper, Viper's going to spend the night meditating with Billiam and trying to make sure he's in a good headspace.
Okay.
Dorothy was good to be with Viper, but Viper's busy. So I guess I'm gonna go to Madame V and try to help ease her stress levels. I'll let her pet Foxglove. She can pet Foxglove a lot. That's helpful.
Dorothy, renowned for reducing people's stress levels with her presence.
Do I have any sleep spells? She tries, but fails a lot. You're correct.
I think.
I could read to you, and then you can listen to that to go to sleep. One of your swashbuckling novels or a play, and then you can focus on that instead of the weight of genocide. Potential.
Which I'm going to keep bringing up unprompted.
Oh, I will. Absolutely. I think that we need to be very clear of what we're doing here.
I would like to go over your research again,
Okay. Sounds good.
and I will be stopping you frequently to understand what you're saying.
Sounds great. This is one of my favorite things to do, so.
Fantastic. It's one of my least favorite things to do, so this will go beautifully.
Okay.
Help me
You may
study,
also-
nerd.
You may also have dog sit with you. That's also enjoyable.
I love dog. He's a good dog.
Okay, so I guess we get this scene of Dorothy helping V study late into the night as Dog and Foxglove provide moral support. Somewhere else in the ship, we have Viper and Billiam meditating on the task ahead, while those who have volunteered to go with you are gearing up, making sure that they have everything strapped down and packed away for the trip tomorrow, and then getting as much sleep as they can, you know? And then the sun rises, and that is where we will pick up next time.
You want to say next week, but you don't know for sure.
Correct. All right, so I am going to take us back to the talk screen. All right, so thank you everyone so much for joining us on this Conversing with Horrors adventure. I have been your host and GM for this evening, Austin Ramsey. This stream is, as always, presented by You Don't Meet in an Inn, an actual play podcast about exploring obscure tabletop role-playing games with a rotating cast. You can find both myself and the podcast on Twitter at Not in an Inn. You can find the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. And you can also find my game design work at austin-ramsey.itch.io. This evening, I have, of course...
I think you should also start hyping your
Beam Saber Kickstarter? That is true, yes.
It's coming out soon.
Yes.
Come on, let's get hype.
So yes, I am also planning a Kickstarter for my game Beam Saber, which will basically run the course of March. So, yeah, you should be able to just find that by searching Kickstarter for Beam Saber. And I hope you will back. And
Good game.
yeah, everyone on this podcast will be working on it if it's successful.
We're completely
about that.
unbiased sources
Yeah.
for how good this game is.
To be fair,
It was
I
good
feel
though,
like
please
I
back.
am pretty unbiased because I hate mecha so much. So much, so deeply. But by the
And
game,
as far as
please.
Austin is concerned, like, eh.
You know, like, I have to live with him, so he does know where I sleep. Therefore, he is great. No, I love him a lot.
Thanks.
Very special.
we
to me.
all do.
We all are and love Austin.
Aw. Okay, so yes, also with me this evening is Christine.
Renowned mech hater. Hi, I'm Christine. I'm the creator of the You Don't Meet in Inn podcast. You can sometimes find me at Not in Inn on Twitter. And lately, my life has just been Beam Saber. So you'll see some of my work on there.
And thank you so much for your hard work.
Don't you forget it.
Also with us this evening is Sasha.
Hi, I have been Sasha, or a version thereof. You can find me on Twitter at Sasha_Vernell. You can follow all of my game design stuff at T-Cabbage, and also back Beam Saber thanks.
Thank you. And of course, last but never least, Hadrian.
That's me. I hang out on Twitter at Hadrian and always take art commissions. But if you really want some entertainment, I've been keeping count of how many Pokemon it takes to breed a shiny. And
Ooh.
let me tell you, folks, it's a lot. So, running tally for the next several weeks coming up, I'm sure.
All right. So once again, thank you all so much for joining us this evening. We will be back again hopefully next week for more adventures. But until then, I just want to remind everyone...
Maybe
Don't do
get
a
sparked.
kill.
Maybe you get sparked. But don't do a kill.
Don't do a kill. Get sparked.
Thank you so much for joining us. See you later.